The Texas Department of Public Safety says a driver of a prison bus may have been driving at an unsafe speed just before it veered off the road this morning in Willacy County and then rolled over. All 16 inmates aboard the bus survived the accident without major injuries. 2 of them are still hospitalized in Harlingen for precautionary measures. Now, the bus was traveling from the Segovia Lopez facility in Edinburgh to the state jail in Raymondville. DPS Lieutenant Johnny Hernandez tells Channel 5 News the slick roads and dense fog were factors in the crash. Lieutenant Hernandez says the driver was also driving at an unsafe speed considering the weather conditions. Channel 5's Alex Schreck spoke with officials who were at the crash scene and at one of the hospitals where the prisoners were taken. Alex, what did you find out?
Sheriff Larry Spence, one of the first responders this morning, told us in these types of situations, additional law enforcement gets there ASAP and keeps prisoners cuffed every step of the way. A construction worker who referred to himself only as Joe said he saw the light the last time he went to jail. No more handcuffs for him.
Just county.
What'd you do time for?
DWI.
Joe said although he'd never ridden in a jail bus like the one that crashed on U.S. Highway 186 this morning, he said law enforcement's universally practiced technique of keeping prisoners shackled is a good one. Sheriff Larry Spence, first on scene this morning, said it's standard procedure. Spence, who spent 40 years in Willacy County Sheriff's Office, 32 as sheriff, ought to know.
We keep them shackled in the legs and everything. We send somebody with the ambulance if it's going down there. In this particular instance, I think people from the prison itself followed the ambulance.
A prisoner transport bus, just like that white one a couple of 100 yards over there. Now, the sheriff told us they were actually headed towards the prison just 3 miles away, right down the expressway over here. He said that they almost made it, but not quite.
While I was standing out there directing traffic today, trying to keep others from getting hit and making a bigger accident, it amazed me the number of people that were coming up with no headlights on.
There was a total of 60 prisoners on the bus, and there were 2 officers. We're hoping that everybody's okay.
The prisoners and 2 state employees were taken to Harlingen Medical and Valley Baptist. A hospital spokeswoman declined to comment. TDCJ spokesman Jason Clark said all things considered, this was pretty minor. Sheriff Spence said it's just one more reason to slow down in the fog. And our construction worker, who served a little time in the county clink, said from his perspective, it's also one more reason to stay out of jails and prisons in the first place.
You got back on the right track. Any words of wisdom for them to get back on the right track?
Yeah, I know. That's
what would you tell them?
You go to church. You go to church. That's what I do.
But for now, the journey from prisoners to parishioners must wait. Now, TDCJ spokesman Jason Clark told us injuries were minor and that the bus driver and another state employee were treated with first aid at the scene and then released. Now, Clark says there's no significant cost impact. He said prisoners were simply being taken from one state prison facility to the next, which he says happens all the time. In the Channel 5 News studios, Alex Schreck, Channel 5 News at 6.